Right, well, it's been a little while since I've posted a video on the old YouTubes, but finally I have got back into it, and this is the first one that I'll be doing on a number of brews that I've done this year. Now, I have recorded a few videos and then just through time not been getting into it. One of the big things was actually I rebuilt this guy here, the fermentation pie, and so I rebuilt that, new SSRs and stuff and because I was using relays, and then I've switched it to solid state now, and it's been going pretty strong. But this video is going to look at actually me getting into doing mixed fermentation, and I went and bought an oak barrel. I think it was a 30 litre oak, which is actually just hiding behind this microphone here. You'll see footage of it during the video, but yeah, I really wanted to try that. I think it was spurred on by the Burning Sky competition that the Malt Miller and Burning Sky did, and I've always loved these types of beers, so if it was drinking durations stuff or fine ales, I think fine ales maybe the first one that I did try, and I just love that flavour on oak, and then the kind of funky sort of Brett that you get. It just reminds me of Calvados actually. The Calvados do like a cider that's on oak, and it takes me back to that flavour, and I just love it. So yeah, this video I'll go through the brew footage of how it all panned out through the process, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about recipe creation and how it all went and my thoughts on it all. So yeah, enjoy. So here basically I've drilled a hole and then tapped in a tri-clamp, and then just now I've got this variable flow, and then on this just now I'm kind of water testing. So basically I've put this kind of big tower on it to fill it, trim it right up with water and see if there's any water, which there is. So I've had to put some beeswax basically to try and seal it round about the top, just to get a better seal, that's all. But yeah, barrel, that's how the barrel's looking just now. We'll get that filled. This guy's bubbling away just now. The uni tank, beer's ready to go in. Once that finished fermenting, we'll go into this. Then we'll add the Brett and lacto. Woohoo! Okay, so where I started with this one was I actually managed to get the Burning Sky Saison La Prévision recipe. My good friend Brett Harmon had a copy of it from the Ewan Ferguson book, so he sent that over to us, but I wanted to change stuff from it obviously because I wanted to make it my own, and one of the things that I've been doing a lot of is kind of lager brewing as well, and I had Cross Maloof Hells at the time I was using, so I thought, oh, a breaded Pilsner would be pretty cool with a bit of funk. So the plan was to brew in the uni tank till I got to about 10-15, which the book recommends. Then you pitch your Brett and your lacto. So I'd been speaking as well to Liam, is it Liam Hughes at Sunbear Brewing, but he put me on to a couple of strains that he'd used for his Solera project, which was WLP 644 Saccharomyces Brutois and WLP 630, and that was the Berliner Weiss blend. So that was to get me, I suppose it was trying to get some Brett and some lacto, but I don't think that the Brulinus, what's it, Brulinensis Trois, I don't think that is actually a true Brett. I think it's a sack, but then kind of mimics the kind of Brett sort of thing. But anyway, that's what I went for. But what I did do was, on the second time I brewed this, because what happens is when I put it in keg, then I rebrewed another batch and then put that on top. And for the second batch, I then pitched OYL212, which bring on the funk, and that has got all the Bretts in it basically. I think, well, not all the Bretts, but there's a lot in that from Amiga. Yeah, so that was one thing. And then for the hops, I wanted to bring a real pineapple sort of thing, and I've used Denali in the past, which I think is now called Sultana. So if you are looking for that, that brings a real kind of pineapple sort of thing. And then also I wanted to try and mimic what they were talking about in the Burning Sky comp, was a bit of that winey grape sort of thing. So I used Nelson as well. But I think what also happened is the oak barrel that I used did bring a lot of that sort of winey sort of grape thing to it through that, which was really cool. So the actual specific recipe I've got here on the old Brewfather is, what did I go for? So I was trying to get a 6.6% type beer, so quite strong. And I brewed a 30 litre batch, was it? Total boil, where is it? Post kettle, 36. So I was targeting something like 36 litres, which would then allow me enough to then fill the 30 litre cask or 30 litre barrel. And so for that I had 7 kilos of Dingerman's Pilsen malt, which is 88% of the grist, and then 370 grams of best malt chit, and 370 grams of Chateau Week Blanc, which is white wheat, and then 190 grams of honey malt. Used a wee bit of that, and then hops, 15 grams at 60 minutes to get 7 IBUs. This is all probably too high, to be honest, but I'll go into that in a second. 36 grams, so it was 1 IBU of Styrian Goldens in the hop stand for 40 minutes. 34 grams of Nelson at 40 minutes for a hop stand, and 34 grams of Denali for a hop stand as well. So that was all hop stand, and then there's no dry hopping or anything like that. I used 4 packets across Maloof Hells, and then a packet each of the 2 White Labs ones that you've seen in the brew footage. Then the other thing I did was, after that was all done and in the kind of barrel, I then put 2 kilos of pineapple puree in it as well in the oak barrel, just to pure drive that pineapple thing. Now, issues with it was, I think with the IBUs of the hops, it was probably too high. and that's probably not helped with the lactose situation. I seem to struggle with these sour beers, but yeah, that was probably one thing. The way to fix that actually is you can add a bit of lactic back into it. So when it went to the comp, I think it just wasn't matured enough either, and that was one of the things they said. But it got through the first round, but it just wasn't up to the standards, I think, of Brett. Brett actually sent me the winner, and it was definitely way more tart. But I think one way to fix it is you can add a bit of lactic acid in as well, just to bring that back. But the second time when I rebrewed this and put it back into the barrel, I did end up, I think I might have lowered the times and the hops and stuff like that, amounts in the whirlpool, just to make sure that I didn't have too high at IBU, so it wouldn't kill off the lactobacillus on the second time. So yeah, that was kind of it. What I'll do is I'll get a beer poured and we can then discuss the actual flavour. So this is it here. This is the beer. It's got a nice kind of orange sort of colour to it. It's pale. When you smell it, it's just like, it's pure pineapple juice. It's got a nice wee bit of alcohol on it. Bit of that kind of oak as well. Definitely that oaky grape pineapple, but it's nice. It's got a nice little sweetness, pineapple sweetness to it, and the alcohol as well is just a nice coating sort of thing it does. There's a kind of nice sort of acidity to it. It's not, as I said earlier, it's not like super sour, but it's definitely getting there as it's aged now towards the end of the year. It's definitely improving as time goes on. Not that it was a bad beer, it's always been a really nice beer. It's just that super, yeah, it's beautiful. Like how complex it is, and the flavours, the pineapple and stuff like that. It works really well. Which is super exciting, to be honest. So I'm kind of doing that, the Solera type, where you just repitch on top. So there's always something left at the minute in the barrel. So there's like, I think there's always like kind of 10 litres left behind when you're transferring off, and then it's the next one on. So I did change the hops up a little bit for the second one. I'll see if I can pull it up. It's still in the barrel just now. It had so I used the Strissel Spalt, Golden's Denali, and then I put Motueka in the second one now instead of the Nelson, but it's still obviously blended with the previous. So it'll be interesting to see how that one turns out. I have tasted it, and it does taste quite similar to this, where it's that pure pineapple thing, because obviously it's still got 2 kilos of pineapple puree in it. Now, I could have basically, I could have transferred it into another vessel and then added the puree, but I couldn't be bothered, so I just tossed it straight in, and it's actually quite cool. It's, at some point, if I do want to then clean that out, I'll empty it all out, clean it, and then, yeah. But at the minute, I'm quite happy just keep pitching. So once this keg kicks, I think what I'll do is I'll empty the next lot out into the keg and rebrew, so I'll refill it. So basically I'll brew, fill, and do everything on the same day. And yeah, but it's super clear, like, well, I don't know if you can see in that, but it is clear, like a kind of Pilsen would be. But yeah, it's got nice bit of foam. Yeah, that sticks around. Oh, it's a great beer, and definitely has improved with age a little bit. It definitely has more of a kind of slight lactic sour thing more than it did at the start, so maybe it's improving, and yeah, that way. So highly recommend. The place, where did I get the barrels? It was oak-barrel.com, and it's in their cider beer barrels, so I got the oak one in there, but they've got loads of different barrels actually. So, and then what I did was I put all the tri-clamp fittings on it as well. So the bung one, I think you get them off Amazon actually. It was like, it's like a kind of angled thread, and I just used the step bit on the drill and drilled that in, and then you just screw it in, and then it just tightens up really nice. Whereas the top's pre-drilled, and it was like that cork size, a funny size, and when you look online to try and get like a tri-clamp fitting that screws into that, it's like an absolute fortune from the States or something. So I ended up finding one that was just slightly bigger, and then opened up a little bit myself. But like, as you see in the video, I had some little issues with it still seeping, so the trick was actually beeswax. You can buy these big blocks of beeswax, and then you just heat it up and melt it in, and then it just seals it. So that was really cool. And then normally I just have it with a little bubbler in it as well, and just leave it. But it's not oxidized or anything like that, which is pretty cool. Not that, maybe these styles are more hardy to it, but yeah, it's good that way. So yeah, so this is probably the first 2024 video. I've got another one I did in Impey, and I'll do a video on that. That'll be pretty cool, because that was massive. Alright, but anyway, until then, see you later.